Hey y'all, it's BCTV. I'm Bianca.
I'm Chioma.
We are going to do a quick review, recap of Love and Marriage
DC.
We're jumping in the middle of the season here, so forgive us. But this episode didn't have too much going on, but it did start off with Quick doing the usual black man behavior, ignoring his his health. He finally goes to the doctor. Men have to be basically dying before they finally go to the doctor.
Which is so odd because they always say how much their family depends on them. But if you die, then your family will be without you. So your health is actually very important. But he was saying he thought an old doctor told him he might have the gout. And I'm like, you never looked into it.
And the funny thing about it is this is how you make your money.
This is the money maker. But I watched something, and somebody did say God will sometimes sit you down and tell you need to slow down. And his wife has been begging him to spend time with the family, begging him to spend time with her. Maybe this is his way of telling you, he's not taking your talent completely away. He's telling you that you need to slow down.
You need to slow
down. Because as quickly as you making this money, I could take this away from you.
That's one of the biggest lessons that I think I have learned in life is that's why you have to stay humble in all seasons. And you really have to not take for granted your friends, your family, and the fact that you're able to do the things you can do, because in a second it can all change. There's people who have gotten into a car accident and their life was never the same. You just never know. So he definitely has a lot that he's taken for granted, and like Chioma said, I think maybe this is God's way of forcing him to slow down, and even so, he's still not really taking it seriously.
The doctor's telling him he needs to wear a splint, and this
she
for
said
at least
a month or
4 to 6
weeks or something. Yeah.
This man says, "Oh well, can I take it off to DJ?" Are you stupid? And first of all, I thought nobody really even DJs like that no more. Most people DJ from the computer now. So
I think maybe he does. Maybe that's one of his things. If he does the old school way, I don't know.
Either way,
I was like, you can wear a brace and still work the computer.
Yeah, but I was like, no, you need to. She was like, you need to either take care of it now, or you're gonna potentially lose all movement in your hand. And yeah,
and then what will you do? It's either take 6 weeks now, or you be done with it for good. And my thing is, you have worked for years. I'm sure you can afford to take 6 weeks off.
But this is somebody who I feel has tied their whole identity to what they do. And that can be very detrimental sometimes.
And I think he kind of did admit that in a way, in so many words, without saying, that's all he knows. That's his escape. And you need to people got to start knowing that, the same way when your hand is hurting excruciatingly, you go to the doctor, you have to treat your mental health the same way. If it's to the point where you literally, even though your hand is in pain, you can't stop working because this is all you know, you also need to get
you need to do some self-discovery.
Yeah.
And figure out who you are. You're not just a DJ, you're a husband, you're a father, your brother, you're a son, there's so many different facets of you. So it's you're not just that one thing. So yeah, I really do hope he can figure that out.
I hope he does take that seriously. And you can tell that what's his wife's name again?
Ashley.
Ashley was really worried about it.
I will say I don't really care for Ashley, but I do tell they actually care about each other or love each other. I do think they love each other. Yeah.
Scene. So the next scene was kind of quick. Arena and her daughter meet up. I can't remember the daughter's name. They meet at the bar, and basically they're just talking about
the dad,
Jamie,
because Arena's telling her about what happened at outside that rental property, and she's like, "Oh yeah, Dad called me and told me I'm supposed to whoop your ass."
Yeah,
he just knew that everybody would agree with him, and when you don't agree with him, then it's a problem.
Pretty much how he wanted to force Jason to do a DJ. Jason doesn't want to do that, it's a problem. And then when the whole family was kind of supportive of Jason, he was like, well, fine, okay, he can do that, but don't call me. Why would you say that? And it reminds me of how African parents
your son has a hard enough life already. Why are you making this more difficult for him? Simple support he's asking you for, and you can't give him that.
And the fact that what he wants to do is actually amazing. It's not like he's trying to go be a bum. He wants to work for Apple. That can be a very good, the same way you were oh, it's a good story of having somebody blind excel at being a DJ. Can you imagine what it's like to work at Apple?
And work in tech?
and you're blind. Like, yeah, like
that's like, yeah. Even his son, the oldest son, who they say, you know, was living a.
He's very handsome.
The child, yes, he is.
he needs to get his life together.
So I could call me. I told my sister, I was like, he's really handsome, but
he is.
But it makes me think. Yeah, I think he's like 25.
Yeah.
But it makes me think that, like, was his life really all over the place, or are you just being too hard? Because I still didn't understand what is it that he's into.
That he did.
Because all I mentioned was smoking weed. I'm like, smoking weed, that's it?
I think maybe he made one mistake that they're not really saying.
Because I'm just like, I didn't understand. I was like, it has to be more.
I think it's more, but maybe they just don't want to put his business completely out there. But yeah, basically, Irena and her daughter agreed that nigga be tripping.
It's his way of the highway.
Pretty much. Monique and Chris, they go to the Silva's house. That's DJ Quick and his wife, Ashley. Monique can really talk. Ooh.
The way the camera was cutting, like, to show her over and over, she just kept talking and talking and talking. I was like, girl, shut the hell up.
And it's like she's not aware of, like, the room. Because
she does not read the room. She can't read facial expressions. Like, these people were over it. And she just
even her husband was like, yeah. And then more specifically, she kept talking about the Winter and Ashley drama. And it's like, it's one thing to mention it, but you came to their house, Winter's not even there. Like, why you spend the whole time? Oh, cause I came back from Africa and I accidentally done dropped the bomb and done frazzled everything up. And I wasn't even trying to do that. Right, Chris? I wasn't even. No. She not even messy like that. That's what I'm saying. I was like, oh my God. Like,
and honestly, Ashley literally doesn't even care.
She does not care.
She actually, like, when she says, I don't see her for Winter, I don't care, but she really doesn't care. She doesn't want to talk about it. I don't want to meet up with her again. Like, I'm only doing this for Monique. She doesn't care.
She said last episode, she was like, I didn't even know Winter 2 weeks ago. Like, she was a stranger then. She could be a stranger now. Like, I'm fine. And I'm with her on that.
And
like,
that's the kind of dust Drew needs to pay Sonya.
Exactly. So yeah, they do go on to talk about, I think, the healer, and that's when Monique brings up the spiritual healer and invites them to it.
I mean, Ashley's down for it.
They're both down for it. So the next scene, Winter is with her kids, talking about
She's talking about, she pretty much she was telling her daughter, that the divorce is almost fine, that he just needs to sign some papers. It's moving along pretty quickly. She just hopes he'll sign it and be done with it. Her daughter starts clapping, and she was just like, are you, like, you're clapping? Like, what's that? She's like, I'm good. I'm glad it's over with. Like, he was a manipulator. Like, he wasn't good for you. And I guess it gives it gives Winter a little bit of solace, because she really had thought that she really effed up by bringing her around the kids. Like, it was truly her fault. But her daughter's telling her, like, he had everybody fooled. Like, I still believe that Winter.
I think you need to take some.
I still believe Winter did not do her full due diligence. So I still think that she was naive and she didn't. I think she was getting, like, love bombed with a lot of, she was getting a lot of things.
I think his age played a big part, because it is hard to imagine that a 60-year-old won't even have his own house.
Yeah, and I feel like he was gifting her, showering her with nice things. That kind of will blind you, and you're like, oh, everything's just so great.
Especially if A, it's been a long time since you were in a relationship, or B, your last relationship was so horrible, bad.
Yeah, that's why he's treating you so nicely. You just can't, you can't believe it. So I do think Winter's a good mom. I don't think she intentionally put her kids in harm. I just think she made an error of judgment, but her and her kids are gonna be fine. They seem like they're bouncing back just fine. But, I guess it did feel good to hear your kids say, like, hey, we don't blame you, like, it's fine.
I think, she probably felt guilty because she felt like she had done, did that situation do a number on them. But I just feel like the only issue I have with that is, like, I'm not going to say I want her kids to tell her it's her fault.
But I do think Winter needs to kind of be like, what red flags did I not see? Did I not pay attention to?
I do think you did overlook some stuff. So Monique brings Winter and Ashley together for dinner. And at this point, I think both Winter and Ashley were low-key over it. They were just kind of showing up for Monique.
But I guess the only thing when Winter was like, I would never call another black woman a bitch. Like, okay, good for you.
And I was with Ashley, like
you talk about my husband, it's gonna be bitch. Like,
don't bring the whole black woman thing into this. Like, I hate when people try to, like, strategically.
As a black woman, we shouldn't be talking. Well, you shouldn't have said. You know what? Well, you were still talking greasy about me. So
you can throw all the shade you want
to, but when I call you a bitch,
when I say
that's
bitch,
the problem. Oh, okay.
And now it's as a black woman, girl, please.
She pretty much just says like, "Hey, Winter, do you have anything else? You know, do you have any issue? It was to misunderstand, but do you have any other issues with me?" Winter says no. She's like, "Okay, like we're cool, but we're not friends.
We're pretty much
no,
it was
no drama.
It was for Monique to really clear her name, honestly.
And that she wasn't being messy.
She wasn't trying to be messy. She just got the story wrong or whatever. And Winter did own up and say, well, maybe I do also need to work on my storytelling skills, maybe. And yeah, Ashley said like, okay, yeah, well, we're not really
we don't have no beef, but we're not friends, yeah. And that's
I can respect that. So the scene pretty much the episode and that's not where it ended. The couples go to a spiritual insight specialist. It seemed like she was pretty on the money.
Spot on. I mean, not my cup of tea, but it seemed like she was spot on, and all the couples agreed with what she was saying. So she points out that Jamie is a little insecure, and that it's pretty much his way or the highway. Jamie's kind of like me, was like, I don't believe in this, but she's kind of speaking facts.
The only reason why I actually did find this a little more interesting is that it wasn't a psychic per se. It was more of like, let's feel the energy. When it comes to like predicting the future, I don't like stuff like that. I don't know. It just makes me uncomfortable. But if you're talking about energy now, I'm not sure how fully I believe it, but I'd be open to hearing what you're saying. I'll put it like that. But psychic stuff, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it because I just feel like
only God knows.
Only God knows the future, yeah. So,
but yeah, so you know, she says something about Jamie, and pretty much Jamie and Arena, what's her name? Arena, yeah. Arena, they pretty much agree. Like, yeah, she's right.
I did give kudos to Jamie for actually taking some accountability.
Yeah. But I'm like, well, now that you know that, do you want to do something about it or what? So then she goes to Quick and is like, I see the number 9. And he was like, yeah, I found out Mom was sick, like she was gonna die when I was 9. His dad died in 1999. And then there was something else with 9.
It was a third one. I just can't remember.
I just can't remember it. So it was like, yeah, she's spot on with that. Bro, Monique and Chris gonna wear me out. When she was on some to think more deeper into like what she was like, oh, like coaching, and she was like, no, that's not what she's saying.
I'm like, bro, you're
Monique,
not the healer. Monique always thinks she just knows everything, and that's the problem because
she's a know-it-all. Actually, Monique is actually insufferable.
She's annoying as hell. And if Chris were to wake up one day and be like,
say, I don't want to be with her, I would understand.
I would for sure understand.
Because imagine dealing with. We're only seeing a clip from a show.
Imagine dealing.
Oh Jesus, I would fucking cut my ears off.
Like she's never. The guy actually tried going deeper. Like, oh, you know,
finding my purpose. You know, maybe coach. No, she means. You're literally saying exactly what he said.
I was literally like, what's the difference? Like, I mean, maybe he did kind of forget himself and just, you know, he used to be the star because he was the breadwinner and it turned into you doing these things and he's been supporting you. Maybe he needs to get back into some things that make him happy, a la coaching.
What's the problem? Maybe that is his purpose.
Like, I'm so confused with her and her nagging ass. But yeah, that was pretty much it. The spiritual thing went pretty well. She was spot on.
Yeah, but when Arena was crying, instead of Jamie to go and hug his wife, he's tapping her on her leg or whatever.
He's like under the cover.
Like pretty much showing her like, stop all that.
And I'm like, that's such a weird reaction.
But he's complaining that, they don't have sex as much. Sir, you're not even there emotionally and you're complaining about sex.
And that's the thing, when you're married, people say like all the time, like sex feels better when you're actually in love with the person, y'all care about each other. If you're married and your husband is like abrasive to you, like he's not really in tune with your emotions, he's not soft, you're not gonna be, you know, in the mood like that. And she even said a couple episodes ago, like,
because he just wants to like,
he'd be like turn over.
Yeah, she was like, he don't even give her like oral sex like he used to or anything. He just be wanting to just,
he don't like foreplay or nothing. Yeah. It's like you have to warm a woman up. Like if there's any straight man that's watching this, I doubt. Or ladies, you just need to tell the men to warm you up because that's crazy. So the episode ends with Quick and his brothers visiting their dad's gravesite, and I felt really bad for Quick because he brought out this letter.
And he is not what is wrong, because there's nothing wrong with Quick, but he is what is wrong with the black community and men. Don't cry, you're a boy.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all don't realize kids hold on to words.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all tell them when they're a kid, oh, be strong. Your mom wouldn't want you to be crying. Don't cry, be a man. And he's internalized that, and as a grown person, he felt he can never cry. Even when you're sad, when you're sad, when you're happy, when you're angry, those are normal emotions, and crying is a normal thing from those emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So
crying is not a sign of weakness
at all. Look at me, I cry multiple times a week. Maybe because life is beating my ass.
And I be telling Chioma this. I cry a lot more now as an adult than I did as a kid, because I did get told as a kid. I gotta call my mom back. I did get told as a kid sometimes, like, oh, don't cry, or like, why are you crying? So it's like I started to associate that with like it's a bad thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I'm older, it'd be stuff that like is small that I would never cry about. I cry now because it's just like I have so much to release. And
if I have a son, if somebody tells my son, like, oh, you're a man, don't cry. I'm like, you don't tell my son that. Take that to your household.
Yeah.
My son can bring the cry in my house, please.
And that of course, you can teach your kids to be strong, or like not every little thing you just sit and pout. You can cry, but when you're done crying, you have to go deal with
something about it. Yeah.
So
he reads the letter.
Mm-hmm.
He immediately breaks down crying. It's a very sad scene. Actually, that was a sad note.
It was so sad because he said it's been 30 years and it's still like really such a sad thing.
But a lot of people say that. I've talked to a lot of people who've lost their parents that said something you just don't ever get over. I think you just get,
My mom still cries about her mom.
My dad
still can't even talk about it.
My dad still cries about his dad.
And it's been, how old was I? I think I was like 9. So it's been about 20 years.
My dad's dad died when he was like 21. My dad is almost 70. So.
Yeah, you never get over that.
Yeah, you never get over it. And he pretty much is like, he needs to make more of an effort to spend time with his brothers. He's been saying, I'm like, you keep saying you need to actually do it.
Just do it, yeah.
So, yeah. Quick before God sits his ass down permanently, with all these car accidents, I feel like God told him, slow your ass down.
You were like, oh, well, my wife and kids come before my brothers and they know that, but you don't even spend time with your wife and kids.
You don't spend time with your wife and kids, your brother, everybody feels neglected in your life. And if everybody feels neglected, maybe it's something you're doing.
And you said life is short, you lost both your parents. It's like you really gotta, I definitely think the pandemic made a lot of people, myself included, realize like we just be moving like this. Like we're always in this rat race. Like it forced us to slow down. Like we started spending more time together. I started spending more time with my other friends. I started spending more time with my mom. And now I can't go back to not doing that. Like if I have not seen my friends for a certain amount of time, I'm like, we need to get together. Like we need to hang out. I need to see you guys. Like I genuinely be missing them now. Same with my mom. Like I'm in Dallas, she's in Houston. If a certain amount of time passes, I'm like, I need to go home because I need to see my mom. You have to start cherishing the people you have while they're here.
Because at the end of when you go, you can't take that money with you. So, yeah.
And
well, guys, on that note,
Life Lessons by BCTV. We'll see you guys next week for the next episode. Y'all take care. Peace.